My name is Marcus, and for 3 years I worked the night shift as a security guard at Riverside Shopping Center. If you'd asked me back then what my job was like, I would have told you it was predictable, peaceful, even. I'd walk the same routes, check the same doors, watch the same parking lots through grainy security cameras. Night after night, nothing ever happened. Until the night something did. This is my story about how routine can create blind spots, and why staying alert matters even when everything seems perfectly safe. When I first started at Riverside, I was nervous about everything. I triple-checked every door. I investigated every unusual sound. I wrote detailed reports about the smallest irregularities. My supervisor would smile and tell me I'd relax once I got used to the rhythm of the job. And he was right. Within months, I could walk my rounds almost on autopilot. I knew which hallway light flickered at exactly 2:47 a.m. I knew the maintenance closet door on the second floor never quite latched properly. I knew the food court always smelled faintly of cleaning solution and yesterday's French fries. Tuesday through Saturday, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. My world was predictable. I'd arrive, get my equipment, do my rounds every hour, and spend the time between watching monitors and studying for my college classes. I was working toward a business degree, and this job was just a stepping stone, something to pay the bills while I built towards something bigger. The routine became so ingrained that I stopped really seeing what was in front of me. I was physically present but mentally elsewhere, thinking about exams, weekend plans, or what I'd watch when I got home. It was a Thursday in October. Nothing about that evening felt different when I arrived. Same parking lot, same building, same checklist to work through. I settled into my usual spot at the security desk, coffee in hand, textbook open beside the monitor bank. My first round at midnight went exactly as expected. Doors locked. Hallways empty. Everything secure. I returned to the desk and dove back into studying, barely glancing at the monitors. Around 1:30 a.m., I started my second round. I was thinking about an essay. To the following week, as I walked, my flashlight swinging lazily at my side. When I reached the west wing near the old department store anchor, something felt off. I stopped walking. The air felt different somehow. Cooler, maybe. I stood completely still and listened. That's when I heard a sound that didn't belong. A soft scraping noise, rhythmic and deliberate, coming from somewhere ahead. My heart rate jumped. In 3 years, I'd never encountered anything like this during my rounds. I'd found unlocked doors left open by careless employees. I'd startled the occasional raccoon that had wandered inside, but this was different. I followed the sound, my training suddenly flooding back. I radioed to confirm my location, something I rarely bothered with during routine rounds. My hand shook slightly as I keyed the mic. The scraping grew louder as I approached the maintenance corridor near the loading docks. Through the corridor window, I saw a door I'd checked 1,000 times standing open, the loading dock access. And through that door, I could see movement. I won't detail what I found or how the situation unfolded, because that's not the point of this story. What matters is that there was an unauthorized person attempting to access the building, and my 3 years of routine had almost made me miss the signs entirely if I hadn't stopped, if I hadn't listened. If I'd been just a bit more distracted or hurried through my round 5 minutes faster, I would have walked right past. The outcome could have been very different, not just for the building and the businesses inside, but potentially for people's safety. The aftermath involved police reports and meetings with building management. But the biggest impact was internal. I realized how dangerously comfortable I'd become, how routine had eroded my vigilance, how I'd stopped truly seeing the environment I was supposed to be protecting. My supervisors praised my response, but privately, I felt shaken, not by what happened, but by the realization of what almost didn't happen. How many other nights had I walked past potential warning signs without noticing because I was mentally somewhere else? This experience taught me principles that apply far beyond security work. Complacency is invisible until it is too late. When we do something repeatedly without incident, our brains naturally downgrade its priority. We start going through the motions. This happens to everyone: teachers who stop really listening to students, nurses who rush through routine checks, drivers who zone out on familiar roads. Routine makes us efficient, but it can also make us blind. Routine procedures exist for good reasons. Those checklists and protocols that seem tedious when nothing's wrong. They're designed for the moments when something is wrong. The challenge is maintaining the same level of attention on day 1000 as we had on day 1. Trust your instincts. When something feels off, it probably is. That night, I almost talked myself out of investigating. It's probably nothing, I thought. You're just jumpy tonight. But I stopped and listened anyway. That pause made all the difference. Being present matters. There's a difference between being physically at work and being mentally engaged with your work. I learned to put away distractions during rounds, to actively observe rather than passively walk, to treat each shift as if it mattered because it did. I finished my degree and moved on from that security job years ago. But I carry those lessons with me into every role I've held since. Whether I'm reviewing contracts, leading team meetings, or managing projects, I remember that Thursday night in October. I remember how close I came to missing something important because I'd stopped paying attention. And I remember that in any job, no matter how routine it feels, there will eventually come a moment when routine isn't enough. Stay alert. Stay engaged. And never assume that because nothing has happened, nothing will. Your routine job might feel like it'll never surprise you until the night it does.